This week we'll wrap up our forecast notifier by making it automatically run every morning at 7 o'clock. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week we're going to finish our forecast notifier by making it run automatically. And I hear you already saying, but I already know how to use cron, or I already know how to use Windows Scheduler. We're not going to use either of those for the specific fact that they are operating system dependent. So cron is a great utility for Unix systems, and Windows Scheduler is great for Windows machines, but what if I want my program to be able to run on either without a lot of user configuration? Well, luckily there's a module called apscheduler or Advanced Python Scheduler that fits the bill perfectly. We're just going to scratch the surface of apscheduler here. It's a very, very versatile program. It can run your scripts automatically, or even just a function automatically at a fixed time or at fixed intervals. It even checks to make sure that if you have a long-running program and you set it to run every 1 minute, that it's not still running. And it won't let multiple instances start, which anybody that has a large mapping suite they run on a server knows how frustrating it can be when you get multiple instances of the same map update program started. So let's go ahead and import what we need. If you don't have apscheduler already, you can install it from condaforge or from pip. So that'd be pip install apscheduler or conda install -c conda-forge apscheduler. So from apscheduler .schedulers .background, and there are multiple types of schedulers. We're going to use a background scheduler, but there are several different types that you can use depending on your application. I'm going to import background scheduler. The next thing that I'm going to do is make our entire texting and data gathering process into a function that we want to run at a given time. Again, there are multiple ways you can do this with apscheduler. I'm going to show you the simplest. So I'm going to create a function called send forecast. It's not going to take any arguments. You could, of course, pass arguments if you wish. Now I'm going to take the rest of my program and indent it because it's going to become part of send forecast. Now that that's indented, I'm going to remove this print statement. I don't like print statements in my functions. And we're going to put a couple of new lines. Now, to protect this from getting unsuspectingly started, if we for some reason import forecast notifier somewhere else, I'm going to use the dunder main name protection here. So if dunder name is equal to dunder main, I'm going to create an instance of a scheduler, which is going to be background scheduler. Again, using my editor, in this case VS Code, it's helping me out a lot by not making me type these long, difficult to type words or class names. Now we're going to add a job, and you can of course add multiple jobs. And my job is going to be the function send forecast. Again, see, I don't have to remember exactly how I've typed things. I can just use the completion from my editor. Now we need to specify a trigger. Is this going to be an interval trigger, like every 10 minutes? Or is this going to be a fixed time trigger, which would be a cron trigger? You can use cron-like expressions. So you can say, run every 5 minutes, or every minute that's divisible by 5, or run every Wednesday that's the second Wednesday of odd-numbered months. You can get very specific here. But we've got a pretty simple one. So my trigger is a cron. And really, all I want is to run at hour 7. I want to run at 7 o'clock in the morning. So as I'm walking out of the house on my way to work, I get the high and low forecast. Now, you can set this many ways, but by default, it's going to work in the time zone that your system is in, and it works in 24-hour time. So for example, if I wanted to get an update at 5 o'clock in the evening, I would run at 1700 hours local. I want to run at 0700 local. Now we just start the scheduler. So scheduler.start. And you might think, well, we're done. Well, we need some way to gracefully shut down. So there is a scheduler.shutdown method that's going to release any resources and close out any jobs. But we need some way to trigger that. Of course, there are lots of ways that you could do this. I'm going to show you the way that I like because I think it's very clear. We're going to use a try except. I'm going to create a while true loop, which is an infinite loop. And I'm going to call time.sleep 1, which means I need to remember to go back to the top and import time. This is just a loop that my system is going to sit in, and we're not really going to consume any resources doing this. Now for the except. It's not good practice to have an except that just catches everything. You need to only catch certain things. I'm going to catch a keyboard interrupt, and I'm going to catch a system exit command. If either of those exceptions occurs, I'm going to call scheduler.shutdown. So that will gracefully exit my program when I do, for example, Control-C. Now remember, we said we needed to add the time import up at the top, so let's go do that. And now let's save our program. Opening up a prompt, I'm going to go ahead and run Python forecast notifier. And we see we just don't get a return. We're in that while loop, so it's sitting there, waiting for a second, looping, waiting for a second, looping, waiting for the scheduler to kick off a job. Now it's not 7 a.m., so I'm not going to get a job. But you can test this by setting both an hour and a minute, say for a minute from now, and let it run. I've played with this, setting several recent times and just letting it run for hours on end, not really consuming any resource until it needs to run and successfully text me the forecast. So I hope that you found this series on creating a GFS text message notifier using Twilio and some of these new utilities like apscheduler very useful, and I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.